Hello everyone, my name is Edgar Pavão, leader developer of the project Migration for Delphi. I'm here with the project DB demo that comes along with Migration for Delphi project, and I will show you how to change the history class of migrations to store information in the database instead of in the text file. We will do that because it's better and safe to do that in a database or other better solution than a text file. Okay, we primarily use text files in the project for the variety of environments. Okay, so the first thing to do is go to the database and create a table to store this information. Okay, I'm using here SQLite, so it's very easy. You can use any other database. Okay, you can choose that. The first thing is create the table. I create the migrations info table. You can choose another name because you will handle this in the new class. Okay, and in this table I create 6 fields that will store the item history information of the migration. Okay, so here I have sequence, version, date time, start of execution, end of execution, and duration of execution. Okay, done that, we just go back to the Delphi, and now we have to implement the history class. Here I create the TDB migration history, and the important here is that this class extends the interface iMigrations history facade. Okay, so this class will handle all the history of migrations. The first thing here in the method add, I just create insert. Okay, so I just make an insert here in the database in the migration info table with informations of the migrations, with informations of the history of migrations. Okay, I get a parameter, a item, and in this I have information of the sequence, versions, date time, start of execution, end of execution, and duration of execution. Okay, so I just make an insert here in this table, and it's done. Okay, the add is done. To remove, I just make a delete on the table where sequence is the sequence of the parameter. Okay, so I just make a delete and delete it on the database. To clear, I just delete all items on the table, all items on the migrations info table. Okay, so I clear the history. And to select a specific item in the get history, this is just a trick to use the same functionality, because I can search for sequence or search for date time, but here is the logic where I just make a select in the table. Okay, so to get information of the history of migrations, I just make a selection in this table. Okay, and of course I create an item, team migration history item here, and pass this information of the select to the item. Okay, after that I just add it on the result, and it's done. It's simple, it's easy, it's a common comments to the database. I think you all know. Okay, So I have some functionalities here, like load or unload, for example, or save, that was not necessary in the database implementation of the history. Okay, because it makes sense when I use a text file or other type of control that need a load or unload functionalities, okay, or save as well. So for database control of the migrations history, we just don't need that, and we leave this, okay. But if you are creating another mechanism, maybe it will be useful to you, okay, so you can use that. After that, I've created two migrations to demonstrate how to use this new class, okay. This migration is simple. I just have the setup method here where I inform the basic information of the migrations, like versions, sequence versions, and date time information, okay. In the up method, I just create a new table called customer, okay. It's simple too. It's just create a new table, the customer table, and in the down method, the downgrade method, I just drop this customers table to make the whole back if necessary, okay. So it's simple, just to represent a migration here. The important here is the register migrations method in the initialization section, because we changed it from the original. The original is register migrations, and now I have db registers migration, okay. This procedure, db register migrations, it's new. I make it. It's specific for this DB demo project, okay. It's not part of the migrations for Delph project, because you must implement it like your needs, okay. So what I have done here basically is use the basic register migrations procedure here. So I'm still using this register migrations procedure, but here I create the history class that is the DDB migration history class that was created for the database control of history migrations, okay. So it's a DB control, so I need a connection here. It's like I made the dependency injection here. You can choose your own method, okay. But here I have the history. I have other class that need this history too, like for example here I like the migration executor. That is the class that execute the migration. So this class use the history to inform me how was the migrations execution, okay. And after that I just call the register migration procedure, passing the migration history, my new migration history class, okay, not the default but the new one that was created, okay. So when in the migration, when I register that in the initialization section, I just pass the new procedure db register migrations, okay. So I have this one migrations and I create another one. It's basic 2. I have this setup information here, version, sequence, and date time, and I have the up method that just insert values on the new customer table, okay. In the down method, I just delete these values from the table. And the initialization, I just call the DB register migrations too, okay. So these migrations will be registered in the mechanism. It's done. It's all necessary. It's here. What I just to show you, I create just a connection, okay, to use with the database, okay. Okay, to show you the functionalities, I just will execute now, okay. When I register an immigration, it's enough to the mechanism understand the new class, the new history class, okay. So I will execute migrations here, execute 1, execute 2, okay. If I get the history here, I have these informations of the execution of migrations, okay. So if I go to the database, we will see that, but I go after, I just will show you the functionalities here. If I open the query, this query is the a simple select on the customer table, okay. So this is the information of the migration 1 and migration 2. If I hold back all migrations, I get the history. I have no one because I make a rollback, and if I open a query, it's I get an error because I don't have the customer table, okay. If I execute all1, I get the history, I get the table. We just go just hold back the second one, okay. So the history is just the first because I made a rollback of the second. And when I open a query, the table exists, but I have no information in this table, okay. So to clear the history, just clear the history here, and I have no information of the history, okay. I have here, I made a select. Oh, it's because I clear the history, okay. I execute the migration here, 1, 2, so I have this, and I have the history here, okay. When I make the select, this table have all information of the execution of the history of the migrations, okay. It's what I want to show you. It's easy, it's nice to change the history class to manage the migrations history information, okay. And I really think if you use the migrations in the production environment, you need to do something similarly to this, okay. I hope you enjoyed. You can contact me by Twitter or by email. Thanks. Bye bye.